Looking to get into Lorcana but don't know how? This video will get you up and running as we discuss the rules. Disney's Lorcana is quickly approaching with its local game store release in August, followed by big box retailers in September. Be sure to be on the lookout for when pre-orders go on sale. But for now, let's take a look at the rules and do an overview for Lorcana. Lorcana is a trading card game built on sacrifice and reward as you and your opponent race to reach 20 points, or lore as it's known in this universe. On your turn, you'll be playing iconic Disney characters, using actions, singing songs, and stocking up on items to make your victory inevitable. There are 3 different types of cards you will come across in any given match: characters, actions, and items. Characters will be your Mickey Mouse cards. You can attack and you can quest for lore with these cards. Actions are one-time use abilities. Looking at something like Dragonfire, you can pay the specified amount to activate its action. After you play the card, it goes straight to your discard pile. Songs are a subset of action cards that work the same way. What sets them apart is that you can have a character sing to pay for the cost rather than using resources. Ultimately, it is just exerting a character that fits the description listed on the card. Items are utility-based cards that stay on the board for the duration of the game. So a card like Magic Mirror can be activated each turn for its listed cost. But none of this means anything unless you know how to read a card, so let's go through that real quickly. Starting at the top left corner is the cost of the card. Cards are played using ink from your inkwell, so a card like Olaf costs 1 ink to play. Only cards with the yellow ring, or an ink ring as it's known, around the cost can be put into your inkwell and used as a resource. Moving further down, we have the card name and identifications. These keywords like princess or broom can create synergies for other cards, so be sure to read the cards carefully. On the right side of the card, we have your strength and defense, or willpower as it's referred to in the manual. These are represented by the spiky circle and the shield. These will be used for challenges, so we will talk about those in a little bit. Further down, we have the abilities that any given card can have. These are abilities that can be activated by certain actions. Sometimes you'll be prompted to exert your character to activate them, and other times they will be passive abilities. And finally, we have the lore value. On the right side of the card, there are diamonds that represent how much lore this specific card can get when it quests. Remember, the name of the game is to reach 20 lore first, so pay attention to what your board and hand can generate. Now that we've taken a look at the cards, let's talk about setup. Lorcana is built off your deck of at least 60 cards. You can have 4 copies of a specific card in your deck and can only mix and match with 2 of the 6 elements or colors. Amber, Amethyst, Sapphire, Ruby, Steel, and Emerald are the starting 6 elements in the first chapter. Once your deck has been shuffled, you will draw 7 cards. This is your starting hand. You can choose any number of cards to replace at the beginning of the game. Take any unwanted cards, put them at the bottom of the deck, draw up to your hand size again, which is 7, and shuffle the rest of the deck. Decide who goes first, and then you are ready to get started. If you are the first player to go, you will not draw a card on your first turn. On your second turn and onwards, you can begin to draw cards. On your turn, you can do a number of actions. You can place a card with the inkwell ring into your well. You announce the card, and then place it face down into your inkwell. You cannot look at these cards or your opponent's inkwell once they are in. You can also decide to place a card on the board if you can afford it. To pay for it, you exert the specified amount from your inkwell and place the card on the board. In order for the card to activate, it has to wait a turn for the ink to dry, so it won't be able to attack or quest until your next turn. Actions and items are able to be used immediately, however. If you have dry cards, you can either send them to quest or attack. To quest, you must declare which character is going to quest, exert the card, which is simply turning it to its side, and then immediately add the lore it says on the side to your overall total. That card is now able to be challenged on the opponent's turn. In order to challenge, your opponent must have a card that is exerted. You must exert your card, then declare which of your enemy's cards you'll be challenging, and then you read each card to determine the outcome. Take your strength and apply it to the enemy, but your opponent will do their strength to your character as well. Your willpower is the amount of hits you can take. Once your card reaches that amount, it is sent to your discard. Let's say the scenario is your Donald Duck is going to face off against their goons. You'll turn Donald Duck to the side, and then you'll read its strength, which is 2. Then the goons will do their strength, which is 2 to you. You add up the damages and you decide who is still alive. Since Donald does 2 and the goon's willpower is 2, that card is now discarded. But Donald Duck has 3 willpower, so it is still in the game, but it takes 2 damage counters. If you can do nothing else on your turn, you declare you are done and leave the board in its current position. On your opponent's turn, they can start by drawing a card and then they follow the same set of actions. The turn order is really simple. You ready any cards that were exerted last turn, then you set, which is to check for any effects that start on your turn and follow those instructions, and then you draw a card from your deck pile. You will continue this cycle until one player reaches 20 lore points or you cannot draw a card. And that is how you play Lorcana. I hope this made sense, but if not, leave a comment below and let me know what you would like answered next time. Hope to see you all playing when the game launches in August at local game stores and September in big box stores.